This is Monkey World in Dorset, the largest ape and monkey rescue centre on the planet. Today on Monkey Life, the alpha male chimpanzees show their troops what it takes to be boss. But could there be an alpha male takeover brewing?
With Paco, he's starting to find his feet within the structure of the boys, and he's finding his way up to the top.
The woolly monkey baby finally gets a name. And after a routine operation, young orangutan Aris suffered a stroke. But has there been any improvement in his condition?
Half the battle when you're that poorly is sort of keeping the will to live.
Of the 260 primates at Monkey World, many live in established family groups. The park's adult chimpanzees are split into 3 troops. And there is a strict hierarchy within each group, headed up by the alpha male. Becoming an alpha male isn't easy. You have to be good at dominance displays, intimidation, and alliance forming to reach the top. Monkey World's 3 alpha males are Paddy, Hanana, and Butch. And the 3 leaders couldn't be more different. Paddy is an old hand at the job. He's been leader for 18 years, and he keeps his troop in check with spectacular charging displays. And they show him respect through submissive postures and gestures. But Paddy doesn't just bully his group into submission. He's a highly skilled leader. He looks after the other chimps and understands the needs of others, however big or small. And he's very careful to keep the females on his side. That way, he keeps a peaceful troop, and nobody is in any doubt as to who the leader is. Hanana is the youngest of the 3 bosses, and he's still got a lot to learn about running a chimp troop. He's only 14, but he's slowly discovering the benefits that come with being the boss. More girls, better grub, and lots of attention. Hanana is popular with all the chimps, but he doesn't always display the dominance that he should, so they sometimes take advantage of him. But he's beginning to get there. Over the coming months and years, relationships within this troop will change, and it'll be a test of Hanana's leadership as to how he deals with them. The last of the alpha males is the slightly unhinged Butch. He's in charge of the bachelor pad, where life can go from peace and quiet to mayhem in the blink of an eye. Butch maintains the top spot by asserting his strength and by keeping the other large males on his side. But being alpha male of the bachelor boys is no easy job. Butch has a strong, if slightly unpredictable, personality, and this helped him get to the top of this boisterous group. To stay as a leader, though, Butch is going to have to keep acting like a leader, and that's hard work. But whilst it's tough at the top, one thing's for certain: if you're a good boss, life can be sweet. Later, the alpha males are on their guard. They never know when another chimp might make a challenge to their leadership. It's been a busy few weeks for the naughtiest chimp in the park, 8-year-old Sheamus. And today, he's outside for the first time with his new group. The Bachelor Boys. Sheamus has always been cheeky. There was always the danger that he would push his luck with the boisterous bachelors and get hurt. But Jeremy planned his integration into the group carefully, and, cheeky or not, he's turned out to be a popular addition.
He has so really surprised me. The thing we were hoping for is that the little boy, Sheamus, is a nice thing rather than a bad thing. You know, he might be a pain in the neck, he might be a drag, but because he's a little boy, he gets away with it. Now, had he been more of a older teenagery sort, then they don't get away with so much. You want to give them a slap. But he's still young enough that you've got a bit of the little boy R factor, and let's play with the little boy, which so far seems to be working.
At the moment, Sheamus is behaving just as he did in the nursery. He's cheeky, boisterous, playful, and a little bit stupid. He's met almost half of the Bachelor Boys, and he seems to be friends with just about everyone. If anybody can persuade a reluctant chimp to play, it's Sheamus. And he's great pals with big male Jimmy. This is going to help Sheamus out as he meets the other top males, particularly the boss, Butch. Which is when his behaviour may just have to change. He's going to have to calm down and toe the line. He is, after all, at the bottom of the pecking order now.
I think at the moment, a bit of a slap wouldn't hurt Sheamus, because, you know, so far everybody's playing nicely with him, and at some stage in his life, somebody's going to turn around and take a swing at him. And I'm really kind of hoping, without wanting to sound spiteful, that it happens sooner rather than later, so that he learns that lesson, because he's going to have to learn that lesson at some point.
But so far, Sheamus is fitting in very well and shaping up to be a perfect member of the group. In fact, all this new activity seems to be tiring him out. Monkey World is home to so many primates that illness is inevitable. Four days ago, orangutan Aris became extremely unwell after a routine operation on his knee. It's thought Aris suffered a stroke that was probably caused by a blood clot in his brain. Despite expert care, the 4-year-old wasn't improving. As difficult as it is for the dedicated primate care staff, they have to do what's right for the animal. Yesterday, Aris was given 24 hours to improve. Unfortunately, he didn't, and sadly, they had to put him to sleep.
We don't always get the results that we're aiming for, and in Aris's case, we lost him. Actually, in the end, we had to make the decision ourselves that the best thing to do for Aris and his welfare was to let him drift away and to put him to sleep. We didn't and couldn't actually carry on nursing him the way that he was requiring, and his condition wasn't improving and showed no signs of improvement. And between John Lewis, Mike Nathan, and Femke, and everybody working very hard, and all of the primate care staff giving him all of that attention and nursing, he just wasn't responding and wasn't getting better. And he had drifted effectively into a vegetative state. So for Aris's sake, the kindest thing was to put him to sleep. So that's the tough decision that we had to take.
The primate care staff dedicate their lives to looking after all the monkeys and apes here at the park, and this was a particularly tough time for them.
We do sort of follow up on them in the following days and make sure that they're not feeling disheartened, because, you know, there are others out there that need their attention today. So We have to make sure that morale stays good and that they keep focus on all of those other faces out there that need them.
Aris came to the park 3 years ago, and he immediately made an impression.
We're all just going to desperately miss Aris because he was a lovely little lad and quite a character. He was, from the moment he got here, very focused, very strong-willed, but you know, I guess he had to be because growing up with a bunch of hooligan gorillas, you know, he sort of had to have a tough attitude or he was going to sink in there, quite frankly. So, you know, he always was very opinionated, quite rambunctious. He liked, you know, tearing hunks out of Jeremy, Jim, or Colin's knee.
But there was also a softer side to Aris. He loved playing with the babies in the orang creche. The 4-year-old had a true zest for life.
He really was an important part of the nursery group, and just, you know, an incredible, lovely character in himself. So yeah, Aris is going to be greatly missed by orangutan and primate care staff and everybody here at the park.
Coming up, it's been 7 weeks since the birth of the baby woolly monkey, and now he's finally getting a name. And after a 3-year struggle, chimp Hanana finally becomes a real leader. At Monkey World in Dorset, the structure of the 3 adult chimp groups mirrors that of troops in the wild, with an alpha male at the top. But for one leader, Hanana, it's not been easy. He's only 14, and he's been wary about asserting his authority since taking over. He's been reluctant to step in when the other males tease the females. And he hasn't liked showing who's boss at mealtimes, often letting the other chimps eat first. But now, it looks like Hanana's finally decided it's time for a change. His second in command is Paco, and Hanana's showing him that he's definitely in charge and isn't in the mood for any nonsense. This is a clever move. Paco is Hanana's only real challenge to the leadership, and he looks petrified by Hanana's display of dominance. Paco's submissive behaviour also shows the other chimps that Hanana is the boss, and that they too should fall in line. It looks like Hanana has finally won the respect of the troop. At last, this alpha male means business. Later, is someone in the Bachelor Boys after Boss Butch's job? Over in the office, there's one little primate who's growing up very quickly. This baby woolly monkey is now almost 7 weeks old, and he's been given a name.
There aren't that many babies, of course, that we've been naming because we don't breed all that many primates. But last week, we sort of came up with a list of names that, you know, the primate care staff had put forward and so on. And we all decided to christen him Paulo. So this is young Paulo. Woolly monkeys are from South America, so a Latin name would potentially be appropriate, hence Paulo it is. Hey, little man.
Paulo had a difficult start in life. He didn't feed from his mum, Kuna, so the team made the decision to hand-rear him.
Good boy.
The staff also had to hand-rear Kuna's previous baby, Julio. But when they were born, these two monkeys couldn't have been more different. Paulo was much heavier than Julio and already had a few teeth. And now Paulo's even eating solids 2 weeks earlier than his half-brother.
You know, he was ready to go and quite enthusiastic. You can see right now I'm mixing up some baby rice with banana with some of his milk, and he just loves his solids. He gets all excited about it, and I have to sort of hold his little hands down because otherwise they go shooting up and I end up with baby rice everywhere, my hair, clothing.
Just like human babies, Paulo is being weaned on a variety of solids from baby rice and bananas to his favourite, juicy grapes.
I used to peel the grapes for the first few days, but now I give it to him with the skin on, and sometimes he eats them down, don't you? And sometimes the skin gets sometimes the skin gets spat out afterwards, but the faces he pulls when he's chewing just crack me up. He's got a little wrinkly old man face, but, you know, he's just a baby.
The team looked after Julio for 7 months before he went to live with his woolly monkey family full-time. But because Paulo is developing so quickly, it's hoped he'll have an earlier introduction to life as a woolly monkey.
The sooner he's eating by himself and eating solid foods, you know, the vast majority of his diet, we can get him back in with the group. So this is all very, very good for his future prospects. It means he'll be back with the woolly monkeys sooner rather than later.
Over with the bachelor chimp group, Butch is the alpha male. He's good at keeping the peace and maintains a strict hierarchy. Although his troop respects him, lately there have been signs that Paco might be keen to take over Butch's role.
What we've noticed with Paco is he's doing more displays. Not necessarily at anyone, but, you know, he's a big adult male now who really has filled out a hell of a lot. So he's at the period now in his life where if he wants to display, he will just go off and display at anyone. You know, he's starting to find his feet within the structure of the boys, and he's finding his way up to the top.
Paco has lived with the boys for 2 years now. When he first joined them, he seemed uncomfortable and was nervous around alpha male Butch. Today, he's a very different chimp.
He's slowly but surely working his way through. Even though he comes across a little bit laid back and stupid, he's not. You know, he's a fairly intelligent chimp. And I think he's learnt the politics of the bachelor boys really, really well. You know, it's a difficult group to be in. You have to find your place within the boys. You know, it's boisterous. That's why we got them here. They get on well together, but you have to find your place. And I think Paco has worked that very, very well.
In the wild, most aggression between males takes place when they jostle for position within the social hierarchy. Intimidation through dramatic charging displays is common. How long an alpha male stays in charge depends on several things. Whether the group continues to support him as boss, if there are rival males, or if he gets injured or falls ill. Chimpanzee life is volatile, and squabbles can flare up from nowhere. If there's going to be a fight for leadership between Butch and Paco, it could happen at any time. But the end result could be fatal. It was only 3 years ago the park witnessed this firsthand. Hanana was second in command in Rodney's group. He was displaying as frequently as Paco is now, and it ended with him challenging Rodney for the leadership. Rodney was seriously injured, and despite treatment, the shock was just too much for him. He later suffered a heart attack and died. In the bachelor pad, Butch is still holding on to his position as alpha male, and his group are happy to back him by putting Paco in his place. While the troop continues to support Butch, his position at the top will remain safe.
Butch is still the alpha male of the bachelor boys. He probably will be for a couple more years, 5, 10 years, who knows? It's a very close thing, and all the primate care staff are keeping a very close eye on it. But at the moment, there hasn't been a definite challenge for any leadership. It's just that we've noticed that when Paco displays, everybody sort of moves out of his way. So that's a subtle change, and subtle changes can suddenly just explode.
It's likely Paco is practicing his threat displays to test Butch's leadership, and his outbursts are becoming more and more impressive. While this isn't an immediate threat to Butch, he definitely needs to watch out for Paco's increasing self-confidence. Butch had better enjoy his time as leader, because he may not have much left. For all the primates here at the park, no 2 days are ever the same, and in the unpredictable world of chimp politics, you never know what's going to happen next.